We're sitting here with writer Mya. Tell us, what inspired you to write? What keeps you going? What is your main focus when it comes to writing?
Um, well, when it comes to writing, what inspires me, what gets me to in front of the computer, is a need to record, bits and fragments of stories from my imagination, have them in some kind of, recordable format so that I can always come back and revisit them myself. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What genre are your books, and what draws you to this genre of books?
Um, Interesting. Well, see what we got. What the main genre that I work in is paranormal romance. Um, uh, Although I have been getting a little bit more into horror. What draws me to paranormal romance and like the things, the dark things in general, is I'm always wondering how other creatures express themselves. Imagining it. Taking it from their point of view. I like to deal in the mystical and the magical.
Okay, okay. Sounds good. What have you done as far as these 5 books that will pull people in to want to read them?
Well, I mean, I think like in my works particularly, you'll find that like folks have good sides, folks have bad sides, creatures mostly because that's what I write about. See, you'll find that they have things that they're passionate about, things that they're fighting for, things that they're fighting against. I think that if you enjoy a good yarn about a werewolf and what they might like, then or let's say a sorcerer, werecat. I mean, I have several different creatures that I deal with. Then you'll enjoy the books.
Okay. I see you brought us a surprise here. A 6th book, Maya's Love Stoned. Everyone, you see that nice book? You can check that out on Amazon and Kindle and Nook as well if you're interested.
The hardest thing is getting down to to the grit of editing. Um, the easiest thing is just churning the book out because when I'm typing, when I'm working on a novel, it can easily jump from 10,000 to 100,000 words because I mean I just get so I'm just trying to get it out. The hardest part, what can actually take months, is the editing.
What are the good reviews and bad reviews from people that have read your books and are interested in more but want a little more from you?
Well, I mean, when it comes to reviews, good or bad, I mean, I love getting good reviews, but I will say that it's the bad reviews that I'm looking for the most because I really need to know how to make my writing stronger. I need to know if they felt that maybe the plot went on too long. There was too much dialogue. I appreciate very constructive criticism.
How do you relax as a writer having 6 books? How do you balance it all?
Um, it's not easy, but I have to be very firm with my time. In that, when it's time to write, I have to try and avoid distractions and just get to the actual butt in chair writing. I mean, there's lots of times where I want to go off and just watch TV or video game all day. But when it comes to working, I'm strict with my writing schedule.
So, what are you working on at the minute?
Right now, I'm working on a submission for an open call called Monsters Brawl. It's something that I had to do because monsters are my thing, and I really wanted to have a horror submission out there. So I'm working on that right now.
Okay. So, how do you think you've evolved as a writer? And what is the hardest thing about writing?
Um, I think I've evolved a great deal since I became published 10 years ago. Um, in that, I know that what things to look out for. I know how to prep a submission package. Um, I know the mechanics involved in getting a book, to published status. I haven't perfected it, but it because it's a learning process, and I'm still learning. But I think I've evolved a bit. Well, my views on social media in general. I mean, I prefer social media because I'm not exactly the most sociable person in the world.
Mhm.
But I like Facebook. I like Facebook because it allows you to write as many words as you want, include pictures, videos, that kind of thing. Twitter. I use Twitter sometimes. Instagram because it allows you just to focus on the photos. I think it's a very useful tool, and I mean, I'm a Facebook fanatic.
What is your favorite film?
My favorite film, um, hmm, my favorite film would have to be The Piano because it was the first, like feminist work that I've ever seen that was just ethereal, beautiful, powerful, relevant to me, relevant to what I was going through as a feisty, obstinate female who didn't want to conform. That movie, when I first saw it, it was just everything to me that she could not talk, and for the duration of her, not the duration, but most of her life, because she simply chose not to. Um, I had to have the book, the movie, poster. Pretty much any promotional item I can find on that. That is still one of my favorite works. Well, my favorite book is would definitely be The Skinner by Neil Asher. I will buy anything that man writes because he is such a master of world building. And not only is he a master of world building, but he writes the kind of like hammer and nail kind of stories. He writes hardcore science fiction, and it's totally believable. It's totally my imagination just has so much fun with his works.
Okay.
But that book in particular.
What do you see yourself in 5 years as a writer? You have 6 books already. What do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'd like to have even more print works out. I'd like to have more short stories out. I want to release at least have my first horror anthology released. Um, I see myself doing more, possibly even an event for the Colors in Darkness group,
Okay.
which is a Facebook group that I started to help promote other authors of color who deal with horror, dark fantasy, and paranormal. I hope to have at least get the first event for the group off the ground in the next 5 years. I would probably tell them that if they're interested in writing, period, that they actually need to sit down and get to writing. Okay, it's I've encountered a lot of people who say that they want to be a writer, that they're working on this, that they're working on that, and they never actually get anything off the ground. The moment and it wasn't hard for me, but because it was always something in me that I had to write and I had to finish the story. That's very important for any writer. You can write all day. Everybody's a writer. But if you really want to be a writer and get works out, get works, open calls and submissions, you actually have to complete something.
This has been a great interview with author and writer Mya